Hey, this is Eric from Light in Motion. I'm here to talk about the new product line this year. First off, we have a brand new platform in the commuter market, and that's comprised of two different products. First is the VIS360. The VIS360 is the first integrated helmet system. You got a 120 lumen light on the front. Also integrated in the back is a tail light. Push the button on the front, 120 lumens out the front. And one thing you'll notice is that there's visibility all the way around the product. So lumens out the front, also out the rear, and 360 degrees. The nice thing about having a light on your helmet is it's much higher in the plane of traffic, so you have a lot more visibility. You got a couple different output settings, 2.5 hours on high, 5 hours on low, and then push and hold for off. From a convenience aspect, it's micro USB, which is your standard cell phone charger these days. So if you have a cell phone, it's probably going to be able to charge the product as well. As far as convenience coming on and off, back snaps off, front pulls away, and then you can plug it into your computer at work. So real convenient from a charging standpoint, and also addressing all the safety elements of having a light up higher out of the plane of traffic. So that's the VIS360. As far as operations, you've also got a low battery warning. Here on the back, this will flash at you, green, yellow, and red, so you know when your battery is getting low. And it also shows you a recharge, so it'll flash green when it's charging. Next up in the commuter space is the world's brightest taillight. This is the VIS180. So one thing you'll notice on this is roughly 10 times the output of the leading competition. And it's not just 10 times out the back, it's also casting light off to the side. So I'll turn this on, and it's got a pulse high setting, a pulse low setting, a steady on, and then if you happen to be catching a group ride on the way home, you can push it one more time, and it's got a paceline mode, so it kills that top light. So from a safety aspect, again, it's not just 35 lumens out the back, which is a ton of light, but it's also pushing light side to side. Because when a car comes up alongside you, when they get right next to you, they lose you with the conventional light. But if you have a reflector that's casting light off to the side, you create basically a cone of safety around you. And both the products, the 360 and the 180, do this. As far as mounting options, basically it's a pivot lock. So you can mount it on a seat post. You can actually invert it and mount it on a seat stay, upside down. The way the pivot lock works, you got to have it closed, and then you can actually pull the body off the ratchet. So then you could also put it on a messenger bag. This is a 1-inch opening, which is a standard webbing on messenger bag and backpack. And actually the light will not come off the bracket when it's open, which would be in the position which would be on the bike. So push down and close. So that's the VIS180. So the rest of the range is focused on Seca. Seca is high performance off-road. This year came out with pretty much the brightest headlight at 1400 lumens. We've also cleaned up the reflector a bit to give you more usable light in the center of the light. Other thing you can see is the actual profile. It's sitting lower on the bar. So we dropped the profile down, so good on the bar, and then also, alternatively, when you go to a helmet, it sits lower on the helmet as well. So 1400 lumens on high, and that runs for about 2.5 hours. Price point $699. Seca 700 is back, also on a lower profile, and using a 3-cell pack rather than last year's 6-cell. And that's at $499. And anytime we reference lumens, that's actual lumens that are measured in an integrated sphere. It's not just doing the arithmetic. So high performance is the Seca 1400 and then the Seca 700. Next up is the Stella range. And Stella is comprised of basically 5 different SKUs from $129 up to $299. And this is really the bread and butter of your line. Road, multi-use, multi-purpose, and also some commuter. Last year's Stella 300 is now the Stella 400, the dual system. And the way we do Stella is on the dual, you've got on the left side, it's a flood. So I'm going to turn this on, and you'll see that on the left side, it's actually a flood beam that you would lay right in front of the bike. And then the one on the right is a spot. So you run that longer, run that down the road so you have a long line of sight. Several output settings as well, flash mode, and then back to off. All the lights include bar and helmet mount, just like last year. Next up in the Stella line is the Stella 300 at $279. Great light for multi-use, adventure, commuter. Small little lightweight head, works well on the bar, also on the helmet. 3-cell pack, gives you run times from 4 hours on high all the way up to 16 hours on the low setting. And that's at $279. Next up is the Stella 200L. This is also an increase in output from last year. And this runs on a little small 2-cell pack. It's got a neat little clip, so you mount it underneath the top tube or a stem. If you want to run it as a spare, this piece actually pops off, and you can run it in a hydration pack or a jersey pocket, and it's a much slimmer fit. And then this just snaps back into place. Wrap it around the post, hook it back over, and you're ready to go. Rounding out Stella is the Stella 120 and the 150, and that's at a $129 retail and a $169 retail. So that's the lineup. So again, brand new this year is the VIS line, which is all the Commuter product, the VIS360 and the VIS180, and then Seca is your high performance off-road, and then Stella rounds out the whole middle range. Thanks a lot.